The final speech of this campaign for Donald Trump was an absolute disaster. He was angrier and more unhinged than ever and lashing out at everyone, not just Kamala Harris and other Democrats, but attacking his own staff and his own crowd. Yes, Donald Trump went after his own crowd, and what was just an amazing meltdown to watch as this campaign concludes, and we will soon see Donald Trump defeated, and I cannot wait to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now let's get into this incredibly terrible Donald Trump speech.
That's a lot of rallies, and and remember, if you make one slip up, and I'm a person, as you probably noticed, I have this beautiful speech. I haven't really even gotten to it yet. One of these moments, I'll start giving you some beautiful things to listen to, and honestly, some terrible things to listen to. Terrible. What's happened, what they've done to our country is horrible, horrible. And by the way, don't you like a president that doesn't need to use a teleprompter?
So we obviously are starting off on what couldn't be a more classic note. Donald Trump saying he doesn't need a teleprompter while reading off of a teleprompter. And generally throughout this entire speech, he was slurring his words. He was all over the place. He was almost falling asleep on stage. This speech started at 12 at night and went for about 2 hours of just rambling from Donald Trump. And like I said, lots of attacks during the speech, including in which he called Nancy Pelosi, or at least was mouthing a certain word right here.
She's a crooked person. She's a bad person. Evil. She's an evil, sick, crazy. Bad. Oh, no. It starts with a B, but I won't say it. I want to say it.
What a genius closing argument for the guy who is losing women at a historic clip, to mouth the B word to describe Nancy Pelosi. Really genius stuff going on there for Donald Trump. It's the reason why he's really running through the tape so well. It's just a perfect representation of the disaster that has been his campaign and all the grievance that has completely consumed him and is just exploding out of him. He didn't stop with Nancy Pelosi. He went on right here.
No, but these are bad people. These are bad. Adam Shifty Schiff. I call him pencil neck. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. He's got about a 4, and he's got the biggest head. So I don't know how the neck can hold the head. He's an unattractive guy, both inside and out. And this guy can end up being a senator, but don't worry, we've been beating him for 8 years. We've been beating these people. We've been beating them. They impeach me, we win. They send me down the Records Act, and we won in Florida.
This is the final speech of his campaign. This is his closing message, and he is spending his time going after Adam Schiff. He's not talking about the economy, not talking about policy, not even trying to define Kamala Harris in the final hours of this campaign. No. He is going after Adam Schiff. And not just Adam Schiff, also his own generals.
It's done in a matter of weeks. When our stupid generals, our terrible generals, that the guys up top like Milley, like Kelly, real losers. Kelly was dumb as a rock. I'll never do that again. I say, give me a letter of resignation. Yes, sir. I'd like
the "you should vote for me because I have the best people" guy of 2016, that was Donald Trump, is no longer trying to make that case anymore. Trump is saying, I hired the worst people and I don't know what I'm doing. Now, of course, the people that Donald Trump brought into his White House weren't bad because of their performance. Now, certainly lots of them were, but not in Donald Trump's eyes, of course. They were bad to him. They did a terrible job because they have called out his fascistic tendencies, his attacks on our democracy, and just what a general disaster he was, how poor of a job that he did. And Donald Trump, of course, believes that's not the case in all things. He thinks he's the greatest in everything, which is exactly what he said right here.
The press, I hope you put it in. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? The golden age. I like to brand things like I brand Pocahontas, and I do a lot of branding. I'm one of the greatest branders in the world.
Once again, the final speech of the campaign. And this is what Donald Trump is talking about how he's the greatest brander in the world. He's so incredible. And not the race that he's running in himself. He continued to lose it, lashing out at Kamala Harris as well. Let's take a look.
They have no enthusiasm. She had a rally today. She couldn't have had more than 100 people there. And I had all 4 stadiums were full, but she had a rally. And she was screaming, "We're going to win, we're going to win." And they wouldn't follow her. They wouldn't say it.
Donald Trump really spent all of the final days of his campaign talking about what he always wants to talk about, and that is crowd size. As his got smaller and smaller, teenier and tinier, he got even more upset, saying that Kamala Harris only had 100 people at her gigantic Philadelphia rally. Well, that's not the case. You were actually the one boring your crowd to sleep. And when you weren't boring them to sleep, Donald, you were attacking them and blaming them for your impending loss like we see right here.
In other words, to make you feel a little guilty, we would only have you to blame. But we put ourselves in an unusual position.
Donald Trump's closing message is attacking his crowd and saying they are to blame for when he loses. That's his closing message for the campaign. That's the cherry on top of the disaster that has been really the last 9 years of Donald Trump. Let's move on. Let's move forward. Let's create a perfect contrast to that disaster with Kamala Harris right here.
I see the promise of America in everyone who is here, in all of you. We are the promise of America. We are the promise of America. I see its promise in the fathers and the mothers and the grandparents across our nation who work so hard every day for our children's future. I see it in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom, and in the men who support them. I see it in people of all ages who have knocked on doors, made calls, sent texts, and who will spend tomorrow driving their fellow Americans to the polls. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but who put the Constitution of the United States above party. And I see the promise of America in all the young leaders who are voting for the very first time. Where are you? I know you're here. I know you're here. And you who are determined to live free from gun violence, who are determined to tackle the climate crisis, who are ready to shape the world you inherit. To you in particular, I say, I see your power, and I am so proud of you. Can we all applaud our first-time voters? So, America, we started this campaign 107 days ago. And from the beginning, ours has not been a fight against something, it has been a fight for something. A fight for a future with freedom, with opportunity, and with dignity for all Americans. Our campaign has brought together people from all corners of this nation and from all walks of life, united by our love for our country and our faith in a brighter, stronger, and more hopeful future that we will build together. And tonight, then we finish as we started, with optimism, with energy, with joy, knowing that we, the people, have the power to shape our future, and that we can confront any challenge we face when we do it together. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now, the baton is in our hands. And to everyone who continues to pour so much of yourselves into this campaign as an extension of your love for our country, I thank you for your time, your effort, and the heart you are putting into this. And together, I know that together we are also intentional about, in this process, building community and building coalitions. And because of you, each of you, and collectively, our people-powered movement reflects a simple and undeniable truth: that we are all in this together. We are all in this together. So we have one day to get this done, which means now we need to get to work and get out the vote. So let's reach out once again to our family members, friends, classmates, neighbors, coworkers, knowing and reminding them that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And let us please remind everyone that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. So tonight I ask you one last time, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
That is a candidate with a closing message. That is the next president of the United States. Let's make it happen. The contrast is clear. What more do we need to know, hear, say, see, do? Let's make it happen. Let's elect Kamala Harris. Let's elect Tim Walz. Democrats up and down the ballot. I couldn't be more excited, and I hope you are as well. And if you want to support the work that we're doing on this show every single day, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.